Welcome to episode 3 of the No Boundaries podcast. My name is Varun,
Operative.
and I know it's been a while since we last spoke. We had a couple of life just came in the way, I guess, but we are back after almost 3 weeks. How have you been?
I've been good. I've been very busy with work. Um, and yeah, looking forward to catching up and discussing about the World Cup today. That's
Yes,
what
of
we're going to
course.
talk about.
I want to keep
How
it
have you been?
factual. Yeah, same. Just busy with work, busy with life. I have some family visiting, so just like doing things with them as well. But outside of that, really excited for the World Cup. I know it. We'll get into it. The relationship, I think, with the World Cup changes over time, but it still gives you some excitement, and so I'm yeah super excited. It's I think for the first time in a really good time zone as well. So
Hmm.
yeah. Uh, Getting into it, today's day 4 as we speak. So the matches are really coming in thick and fast now. And with the 48 team World Cup, there's so many more matches as well. So anyway, we wanted to discuss the World Cup today, right? So we are both football slash soccer fans, as we talked about in our last episode. It's a sport that we've had uh, a relationship with for at least the past 20, 25 years. We've been watching on and off, in some cases more than others. But yeah, so we wanted to just chat about the World Cup today. What do you think? What do you like about the World Cup?
Yeah, the World Cup is a good. One thing is that it comes every 4 years, so it's not like an everyday thing like the weekly Premiership football or even the Champions League, which is special but happens every year. So this comes every 4 years, and I think the history and the prestige around it. I was just now just watching one goal. Kurosawa scored against Germany, and the commentators are going about it's a nation of 100,000 people
Yeah,
scoring against Germany, which around you have like around 80 million of people, and just the kind of celebrations that I saw that the players, the Kurosawa players were doing this sheer passion and what it means for them you don't see that in anything else apart from the World Cup. So
yeah,
I think it's just a passion and how everyone's tuned into it. It is like the biggest event, bar none. As much as I would like to think now, over the last, I think many years, I've held this belief that the quality of football in Champions League is far ahead.
yeah,
Um, but today, while I was watching this game as well, I came across this maybe observation that perhaps in Champions League it's very disciplined. You have the imprint, the vision of a coach. It's more well drilled into the players. They know exactly what they are doing. But in the World Cup, because national teams they don't get to spend as much, the squads don't get to spend as much time with each other. There is some space for individual flair and brilliance which you don't tend to see in
yeah,
club football, elite club football. So there is that little bit of carnival element, but there's also a little bit of that football that we know of, that we have grown up with, that I think we can anticipate and get to see. And it's fun to see these kind of high scoring games as well. So yeah, but also just the memories of prior World Cups, and when I think because as Indians we are such nerds as well that we tend to know all of the stats and all the history and how many times who has won the World Cup when, who is the top goal scorer, blah 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 blah. All
yeah.
of those kind of things also that come into it. So, what about you? What's your relationship in with the World Cups?
I love it. Like I said, it's like super exciting. I You were talking about events that compare. I don't think there are events that compare. Like even if you think about the Cricket World Cup, for example, first of all, there are so many of them now, so it's just kind of lost its value, but also it's a much smaller pool. But the World Cup, you have this,
Hmm.
it is the World Cup, right? Like you have Germany versus Curacao now, and I think you had Haiti versus Scotland yesterday. It's just such a, uh, like you have teams that maybe sometimes countries you might not have even heard of, or you just find out more about countries as a result of watching the World Cup. And I think maybe the Olympics comes close, but the Olympics is just so many
Hmm.
sports as well. and it's less relevant. At least this is a sport that I enjoy as watching as well.
Hmm.
Uh, and also, I think for me, the last World Cup and this one has been like it's the first time in my life that I've had a team that a country that I live in has had representation in the World Cup. So that's also changed it for me a little bit because obviously India never qualified, and then I lived in UAE, they never made it as well. Singapore never made it. So
Hmm.
this time they kind of automatically qualified because last time Canada qualified on their own, which was like big. So that's changed my relationship with it as well. Like I actually have a team to root for. I think
Hmm.
historically, like I always rooted for England back in the day. I like Netherlands. Uh, and then but now I actually have a team that I can root for. So that's changed my perspective towards it as well. What's your first World Cup that you watched?
The first World Cup that I watched was France 98. And at the time, we were living in Oman, so I used to come down to Calcutta for my summer vacations. So it's typically be June, July,
Hmm.
August, those months. And the World Cup happens then as well. So that was my earliest memory. And my maternal granddad was around and he was into sports. And he used to stay at their place during my vacations. And he got me into watching the World Cup actually. And it was very interesting because the at the time the newspapers in Calcutta were very good. There were these two specific newspapers, and we used to get them both, the Telegraph and the Statesman. And you know how, and
Yeah.
even West Bengal's relationship with football goes very deep as well. So he was, in particular, very excited about Ronaldo, the
Hmm.
Brazilian Ronaldo. So
R9.
just through him,
Yeah.
yeah, R9, I think he was getting a lot of coverage even before the World Cup. I think, he had done all of those exploits while he was in Barcelona under
Bobby
I think Sir
Robson.
Brian Robson, Sir Bobby Robson, right? Sir Bobby
Hmm.
Robson's and Jose Mourinho as the assistant manager and stuff. Anyway, so he was all hyped up. So I did follow quite a few of his games, the Brazil matches, though I did miss the finals, but that was my first World Cup. So I have some sort of vague memories of the 98 World Cup. The first World Cup that I properly remember match to match is the 2002 World Cup, though. How
Yeah.
about you?
Mine was 2002 for sure. So 98, I was only 9. So, and I don't think football was shown that much in India as well. Like, probably on
Think probably
Doordarshan.
Doordarshan and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
quite
And
possibly,
maybe they
yeah.
showed me the last few matches as well. I don't know. But
Mm,
like my mom used to watch, she watches only the World Cup. And she'll only watch like the semis and finals, but she used to watch. So
mm,
and they were late at night as well. Like the matches were, it was in Europe, right?
mm,
So it was
yeah.
I had already gone to bed by then. So she would tell me the next day, like who won and things. So I have, those are my, I've watched it retrospectively. I've watched all the matches and things like that. But I didn't watch it at the time. Mine was 2002 for sure. Like that was, so I had started watching the Premier League season and a half ago. It had just come into India
Mm,
as well. So the 2001 2 season I had watched, and then I was excited for the I was definitely an England supporter then. So 2 and 6 I was an England supporter, and I was devastated that they didn't make it to they lost on penalties. No, the two they didn't, but like in
mm,
six.
2-1, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
so 2002 I watched. It was also in Japan and Korea, so there was the times were not
yeah.
bad. Like it was
Mm,
like Japan was ahead of India, like the time zone. So it was
yeah, it was
even the night
convenient
matches were in the
timing.
evening, so it was
Yeah, yeah,
perfect.
yeah. Good timing. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and I used to we used to have like a neighborhood soccer, not team. We used to all play together, play football in the evening, and we had all like a very special memory that I have. It sounds so stupid in hindsight is we had all uh, chosen a team like we would who we thought would win the World Cup, and so I chose England, and then everyone chose a team. And the guy who chose Brazil, ultimately, we all wrote on a paper saying, "Congratulations, you chose the correct team" or something. I am still kind of in touch with that guy, and I remind him of it, and that's like something we always connect over because this is a very innocent memory, but. Yeah, this is a World Cup I watched from start to finish, starting with the France-Senegal match. Senegal won. England with Beckham scoring that penalty against Argentina and the redemption, and then the heartbreak of this quarterfinal. I feel bad because I feel like they could have, if they'd won that quarterfinal, they would have won the World Cup actually. They would have beaten Turkey in the semis, they would have beaten Germany in the final. And yeah, it was a pretty memorable World Cup, sometimes for the wrong reasons as well. If you look at you think of uh, the South Korea controversy getting in the round of 16 and the quarters. But like I don't know if it was a mediocre World Cup now that I think about it. Like the quality of football might not have been the best. Brazil played great, but
Hmm.
like a lot of upsets. Sometimes Germany reaching the
Hmm.
final was like a total fluke. They were a really bad team. Do so.
Terrible team.
But yeah, I have a lot of faith, like a lot of like it was my first proper World Cup watching. Like, and then I've watched all of them
Hmm.
since. But and
Hmm.
the theme song as well. I love the theme song. Uh, I still listen to it sometimes. Like I can recognize it immediately.
What was the theme song for
I
that
don't know.
World
I'm not
Cup?
going to sing it, but I
But it
don't
was a
know.
lady, right? It was a lady,
No, it
right?
was just instrumental.
Ah,
So
okay,
there's
okay.
a
I think
Vang
the France
Vangelis or
98 had a
Vangelis.
really
I'm not
good.
sure. Yeah,
Okay, the France
but
98 had Ricky Martin. That was pretty catchy.
yeah,
I
I
think that
remember.
became very, very popular.
Yeah,
Huh?
I'll link it in the video
Yeah, the show
description,
notes,
the
video
show.
description.
But like,
Okay.
I love that one. Like, I don't remember the 2006 one at all. 2010, we all know
Hmm.
Waka Waka, and
Hmm.
that other one.
Let's stay on the 2002 World
Yes,
Cup.
let's stay there. Sorry.
2000 no, no worries. The 2002 World Cup was also the first one that I watched properly end to end, and it was um I um I watched the first few games while I was in Muscat, and then we went for our vacations, and I finished up maybe like 70% of the World Cup there. And I remember watching the France Senegal game. I was just coming back from school, and then I watched it, and it was brilliant. It was the first game of the season, first
Okay.
opening, I think,
Yeah.
opening game of the World Cup. Yeah, in fact, France are playing Senegal again, and now Senegal, I think, is or is not the African.
Okay.
Champions, it's something debatable. I still don't know. It seems to be a bit of a black box there.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I remember the penalty by Beckham, and there was a completion of that arc, right? Because he scored that free kick against, I think, believe Greece,
Please.
right, to
Yeah.
get them through
Yeah.
as well. Was it Old Trafford? No,
Yeah.
the free kick.
It
Um,
was.
I think, yeah, I think that was in hindsight, I guess you're right. It was a bit of a mediocre World Cup, but I think, at the time, even I was supporting England, and then I conveniently switched to Brazil. And I was in Calcutta, and Bengalis are just huge Brazil fans. I still remember during the England-Brazil quarterfinal, it was a holiday in most schools over there. I anyway
Oh,
had holidays, but I had a different sort of summer timeline
right.
with the Indian schools. And they were given literally a holiday on that day. And I remember I watched the England-Brazil match a little bit in a jewelry store because I had to go, I was going on sort of a shopping errand with my aunt and uncle. And over there also, there was no staff attending to my aunt and uncle. Maybe there was one. There were like six or seven of them glued to the TV. And I was also glued to the TV. And I think wasn't the opening goal scored by Michael Owen?
Yeah. Was
Wasn't it?
that
And the
Lucio
first goal,
made the yeah.
he made that mistake, and he just went through, and I think he
Yeah, it's
scored,
chip the
right?
keeper, yeah.
Yeah, Chip. Yeah. McLaren scored some beautiful goals. In fact, after France '98, I had a sports star poster
Mm.
of Michael Owen in my room.
Sports
In
star posters can be a whole new genre of podcast for us, I think. But
Can
yes,
you
let's
imagine? Can you imagine in a Liverpool jersey? I was so naive then, and back then I was not like really into club football as well. But
right.
yeah, but to sum it up, I watched that through most of the games, and they were not as exciting. They were a little bit boring actually in hindsight. And even the final was a bit underwhelming, right?
Yeah.
Because Brazil were also not at their complete best because they also just barely
They barely
beat Turkey
qualified
and
also.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was good that Ronaldo managed to win the World Cup as well. Things didn't go well for him in '98 personally, so it made sense. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
So
like
then
go ahead.
No, no, move on. Going on to you, you were covering the other World Cups.
No, no, I was just going to say about 2002 one. Like, I was not even that England Brazil match. I was just like, I didn't. I was at school, so I didn't have a holiday. But I
Right.
came back, and my mom was supporting Brazil, and I was supporting England. And then she was like,
Hmm.
she was like happy, but she was also like trying to protect my feelings. And she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry,
Right,
but
right.
England lost." And shit. And there was no social. It was such an innocent time as well because like we were in school, and we didn't.
Yeah,
No one watched TV there. Obviously, like no one would tell us anything,
yeah,
and there was no
yeah,
social media. There was hardly any internet to go online and check
yeah,
the scores. There was
yeah,
nothing. You
yeah.
had to just wait till you came home. Like I feel like
I
that's
know, I get that.
that
I get
innocence as
that.
well, right?
I still remember when I have an interesting story, a couple of interesting stories. When Ronaldinho scored, the there was just such a huge uproar that you could hear. Like it's like when India wins a World Cup or something like that. That's what happened in Calcutta
Yeah.
almost. There was like a huge celebration I could hear in the street just as soon as Ronaldinho scored. And there's also an interesting story. I don't think I've told you this before. I bumped into Ronaldinho at Dubai Mall.
I saw that picture on your Instagram.
Yeah. And he was with his bodyguard, and obviously, I think he's got a poor grasp of English and stuff, but good. I mean, he was a good sport to allow me to get a selfie with him. But you know what I told him? I told him that your goal against England was really good, and then he sort of his typical goofy smile. That's the only thing I could tell him, man.
I wonder if it was a fluke or if he meant it. That's
Yeah,
another.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like,
That's a debate for another day.
yeah, that was disappointing, man. Like, I feel like that was England's best chance as well at a World Cup. But going on to another England's best chance, I don't want to make this specific to England, but the 2006, man, like that was. I feel like that was the best World Cup quality wise and teams wise that I've watched because
Hmm.
all of the teams had really like if you look at the quarterfinalists, it was
Hmm. Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
Italy had to play Ukraine, but Italy had a great team as well. Ukraine had a decent team as well. Uh,
Shevchenko was there probably,
Shevchenko was
at the
there, and
time.
he was
Yeah,
good. He hadn't
yeah,
gone to Chelsea yet. Uh,
yeah, yeah. Speak
and
Shevchenko. Yeah.
and then you had Germany, Argentina, England, Portugal, Brazil, France. Like it was
Hmm.
like all Brazil
All
were pretty
stacked.
heavily favored to win it, but yeah, they were all stacked.
All,
And then I think the final was so memorable as well with the headbutt and the
yeah.
Italy winning. I felt really bad for Zidane at that moment. Like
Hmm.
he
Hmm.
obviously it was his
Hmm.
own doing, but like to retire at the last that's his last act on a
I know.
football pitch. That was a bit memorable. And then Germany's heartbreak in the semifinals when they played so well, and then that
Hmm.
2-0,
Hmm.
like that was crazy. Uh
I thought,
but
I thought
Italy
there were a
winning is
couple
always a
of
good time. Yeah.
I, I I recently came up with somebody was I saw this post on Twitter, and they were just saying this exact same thing, and they were just showing the top three stars of all of the national teams in 2006, and there's this really cool trend
Yeah.
which basically had the the superstars from just the previous generation and the emerging superstars from the next generation. It was incredible. It was like England, for example, had Beckham and Rooney. Portugal had, say, Luis Figo and Cristiano Ronaldo, you
Deco.
know.
Yeah.
And you just go and say, for example, Argentina had like Messi, Tevez, plus, I think whatever, like Aymar or maybe Crespo and all of these players. Just
Veron.
Veron, I'm not sure if Veron was there. Probably he was declining though by
It was
that
yeah,
time,
it
right?
is.
Yeah. But yeah, this is just across the board. Like even like for example, like Netherlands had Van Persie, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Arjen Robben. Like all these teams were
It
super
was
stacked.
stacked. The England team was so good,
Um,
man. It makes me
I
so
mean,
sad.
I keep even I think even then I was supporting England, and I'll come to it when we start talking about the other World Cups, why I completely
Yeah.
fell out of England so much that I was passionately rooting against England, but I'll come to that. But even in 2006, I was really even I was a passionate England fan. But in hindsight, yeah, there was just a complete mismatch in terms of how they would set up their players, set up their teams and things. And also, they would never have that. the real creative player, like a
Yeah.
player like who can dribble, make things happen, some exciting talent. I mean, they were trying to, I think their player of that sort of ilk or nature was Joe Cole. And I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And Joe Cole doesn't have didn't have any pace. Yeah, he was a good, decent dribbler. He was okay, but he was not at the level of, say, someone like Cristiano Ronaldo or Figo or of
Yeah.
that kind of elite sort of level. But yeah, I completely agree with you. And then the bit about Zidane as well, with regards to his ending. I actually, I think I disagree a little bit in the sense that I think that sort of imperfection makes it even kind of
Mm.
gives it like a little bit of an edge. Um, yeah, so it's bittersweet in a way, I suppose. Yeah. Any other takeaways from you on the 2006 World Cup?
2006, yeah, I mean, I was also like in this point of life. I was in like my grade 12. So I had a like by that time I was properly entrenched into football, right? So like I had 2002, I had just started watching. 2006, I knew all the squads. I knew I had like pre-tournament.
Mm,
I'd done the bracket and everything. So I was much more involved in football. And then we would all watch games together. And even though it was in Europe, like we would stay up a bit. I was older, right? I would
mm,
stay up, watch, and then go to school the next day. I remember the day of the final was on Sunday, obviously. And Monday after none of, like about 10 of us didn't go to school. That they were all the teachers were like, "Oh, we're watching the World Cup," and like, "No, we're all sick or something." We said like they didn't
mm.
believe us, but that was like, and then we had all planned as well that we wouldn't go to school because we'd watch the World Cup. That memory just came back to me right now, actually. So it was a lovely tournament. Also, I feel like the that Netherlands Portugal game. Do you remember
I
the one
actually
where they
didn't. I was
had
in,
those
I was in
four red
engineering at
cards?
the time. Yeah, I was in engineering at the time, and that was one of the games that I actually missed. I went off to bed. I shouldn't have. And the next day, my friends were telling me what an epic game that was and stuff. And it was a good matchup as well, right? I think Portugal won that game, no?
It won. You know what stood out to
Yeah.
me? Another memory I remember from the World Cup is the Australia-Japan game. And Australia, that time I was super interested that Australia had made it to the World Cup because I used to watch cricket
Mm-hmm.
and I thought Australia is good at cricket. And then the football team made the World Cup and they had to at the time beat Uruguay. So anyway, there was a big story with them coming in to the World Cup after a long time, and they were losing
Mm-hmm.
1-0 to Japan. And in the last 5 minutes or so, I think Tim Cahill scored two goals, and then another someone
Oh,
else.
I don't remember that.
I think it was Emerton. He scored another goal, the third
Yeah,
goal.
he was at Everton. Yeah, he had that nice boxing celebration as well,
Yeah,
like a
yeah, yeah.
boxer's
Didn't miss
celebration.
the
Yeah.
lost the corner flag. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
so they won 3-1 and they played well, and then they went to the round of 16 and they lost to Italy the
Mm.
last minute. Totti
Right,
scored a penalty,
right.
which was not
Totti
really a
scored.
penalty.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I remember that one. Yeah, I
And
remember that
then
one.
actually,
It
if
was a
Italy had
debatable
lost
penalty,
that,
right?
yeah,
The debatable penalty. Yeah, yeah.
like Italy could have lost it then, and then the semi-final would have been the
Mm-hmm.
quarterfinal would have been Ukraine versus Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And then the
Yeah,
way
how
France
things
played that World Cup was insane. Actually, they did deserve to win, I feel, because they beat Spain in this round of 16. They
Brazil.
beat Brazil in the quarters. They beat Portugal in the
Mm.
semis. In the final,
Oh, they beat
it's the
Portugal in the
dance
semis. I don't remember
winning the
that.
penalty
Yeah.
as well. So like yeah, it was like I remember a lot from the World Cup, as you can tell, as I
Mm.
rated half the results to you. But yeah, I feel like that it's been 20 years, which is insane to think
Mm.
of, but I still would like I still watch the matches. But you know, when you watch the matches now, you think look at the production quality compared to now.
Right,
It's so
right, right, right,
old,
right.
man.
The,
It's
I
like
think one aspect about the that particular World Cup, because I like to, track like sort of macro trends, social trends, things of that nature. And there was one really big change that happened in that World Cup, and that was the German national team.
yeah.
So, like the French national team that had made that social transformation in '98 when they won the World Cup, and they became it was very representative of what their society was in terms of different people from different backgrounds. And I think there's a documentary about that as well, that talks about that. And that was the first thing that, and Germany went through that transformation in 2006 when players like Mesut Ozil, I think Sami Khedira, I think the Boateng, Jerome Boateng, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken. So I don't know if he came in that year, but basically there were people of immigrant backgrounds who were coming to the national team. Otherwise,
Hmm.
the their national teams prior were very white, very German. I think Miroslav Klose and Lukas Podolski are also of Polish origin. So even that is something
Yeah.
that was not very common. So I think that sort of change that came through, and also that also meant a very different style of football. Like the German style of football prior was more efficient, was more more structured, not as much flair
Yeah.
and things like that, like inventiveness and stuff. And that's what like players like Mesut Ozil and everything brought in. So that was, and I think that slowly started moving into other European teams as well. But that was a key sort of change. And also, it was the first time that a unified Germany hosted the World Cup. Because I believe it
Yeah.
was not, so
Or
that was
90 they
another sort
were,
of a big,
yeah, correct.
90 was West Germany, yeah.
And they
So it
didn't host,
was,
they just won. Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah. It
okay.
was a big deal for the it was a big deal for for Germany as a country as well to host to play host as a unified country, and also this sort of change in their style of football and sort of being more representative of country at large.
Yeah. Should I ask you my favorite question?
Let's move to the 2010 World Cup.
What are your top three reasons why you don't want to answer a top three list? No, we were chatting before and we were like we want two top three right now because it puts you under pressure and I definitely don't
Yeah.
want that. So not 2010. Let's just so actually maybe we can, but I'll tell you something. So like since 2010,
Mm,
2002 and 2006 are very distinct memories in my mind and
mm,
distinct associations. 2010 onwards till 2022, they
mm,
can just be the same tournament in my head. Like
yeah.
I know they were obviously they were different tournaments, they have different stories,
Mm, mm,
different
mm,
things, but I my association with football in general declined for each tournament in general.
mm,
And then also, like, I don't like we were discussing in the last episode, like maybe your relationship with sport just changes over time and didn't relate as much to the players, didn't look up to the players as much. But
mm,
2010 was memorable for me in the sense that I was in South Africa at the time. I was obsessed with the country for some reason. So that was
mm.
exciting for me. And then Spain winning was good because they had such a strong team. If they hadn't won, I think it would have been pretty disastrous. 2014 was memorable for me with that 7-1 Germany
Mm.
semi-final. And then 18 and 22, like I'm gonna get in, but yeah, they were good tournaments. I enjoyed watching them, but I don't have the same relationship. Do you find that happening with you as well, like since 2010, or has it happened at all? And if yes, so since when?
I think in that period for me, the last World Cup that I also enjoyed and I was very seriously invested was the 2006 World Cup. Um, After that, I think my allegiance for club football, and I got really into club football in those years because between 2006 and 2010, Manchester United had a very strong run.
Yeah.
And they won the Champions League. They made it to a second Champions League final as well, the back-to-back Champions League finals. They were very strong in the Premiership. So I was very invested in Manchester United, and that did not sort of translate. So my love for football did not, because I was so sort of watching week to week and things like that. So at the World Cup, I did not have a very strong allegiance anymore. I still supported England in the 2010 World Cup. I had this memory where a few of us, and at the time I'd started working in Bangalore, so a few of us and colleagues, friends from work, went and watched in a sports bar, uh, the England versus Germany game.
I watched that in the
You know,
sports.
with the
So,
yeah, and yeah, I was pretty disappointed when England lost and stuff. But then also, I started finding it difficult to cheer Lampard on and things like that. You know, because I was so
mm,
into the thing. But on a separate note, it's going back to your original point. This that article that I shared with you, right? It was this interesting article in Irish
you
Times
can link it
where
as
the
well.
author, yeah, where the author, where he talks about it and completely makes sense. Basically, his what he's putting forward is that the World Cup that you really look back on and it really defines you is when you were around, what, 12 years old. Basically, your first World Cup, essentially, give or take the age, where you actually remember end to end, and every memory is very clearly etched in your mind, every incident that happens. Um, I think that is so true, right? I think it's because when you're young, those memories are just so much more
Yeah.
stronger. Then when you once you grow older, and it's not really quite the same. So yeah, that makes complete sense for me as well. But was there any specific reason that you, apart from just growing up, grew distant to football?
No, I started just watching more tennis and I started watching more
Mm,
cricket again, like being secure enough to watch cricket again. And just like I just also just lost, I didn't have enough time. Life came in the way,
mm,
I suppose. Okay, so yeah, I think as I was just saying, like I think just things changed in life as well for me. So I had Um, yeah, I guess my relationship with football changed, but the World Cup I still watch because it's still a showpiece event. I was telling someone I've now become that annoying fan who just watches World Cups. And when I was like young, I used to hate it. Like people who would not watch football at all would just watch World Cups and talk about it. And now I am that person. So it's funny how things change.
But was there any reason why how you prioritized cricket and
No, I
tennis
like,
over football?
I mean, I liked tennis always. I had more time and like I started writing about tennis as well for a little bit in 2011, 12. So I started watching more as a result. And then just, I guess my relationship with sports changed in general. Uh, I still remember, so it's funny as well because this is not a World Cup, but this is Euros. But when England reached the 2021, 2020 Euros final, I remember
Mm,
thinking that 15 years ago, this would have excited me so much.
mm,
And I didn't feel anything. Like,
mm.
so that's just funny, right?
That's interesting because it comes to probably yeah since the 2010 World Cup, like I mentioned, 2010 World Cup, you went out to watch the England Germany game, and England got knocked out, so I was a bit disappointed then. But things really changed from the 2014 World Cup onwards. 2014 World Cup, I just watched a few games here and there. What was the final? Was Germany beat
No, Spain beat them.
Argentina?
Spain, no,
No,
no, no. It was
2014. No,
2014
Germany
Germany,
won the World
Argentina.
Cup,
You're right,
no?
you're right, you're right. See,
Mario
that's how I.
Götze,
Do
Mario
you remember?
Götze, Argentina, right? I think Germany
But
beat
think about
Argentina,
it.
no?
10 minutes ago, 2006, I told you all the results. And now
Yeah,
2014, I'm
yeah.
like, oh, it was it Spain?
No, it was the same. Even I don't remember much about the 2014 World Cup. I do remember Götze scoring the winner. At the time, I was still following football, not in as much depth as I used to. But then from that World Cup onwards, I think that was when our timelines clashed. We met in Dubai as well
That's
around
before that.
around that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, before that, but yeah, we were in Dubai, right, during those few
So the thing
years.
is, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, all I was going to say is that during the 10 years I was in Dubai, my relationship with England changed drastically because of my experiences over there.
Yeah.
And then from being this naive Indian boy supporting England to being, supporting anybody but England,
Tell me
and
more.
yeah, no, it's just the experiences, right? Like in Dubai, like you actually meet English people over there. And it's not a representation of perhaps English people at large, but just the experience that you have. And Dubai is a place as well. It's kind of a little bit transactional and stuff. So it's it has its challenges. So anyway, it's the experiences that you you come across that sort of makes you form a certain perspective. Um, yeah, I'm just going around in circles a little bit, but yeah,
Right.
but
It's a hard topic to
it,
talk about. I kind of get what you're saying as well. Like when you become older, you kind of lose that idealistic view as well.
yeah, there's that too. There is, I mean, I think you sort of nailed that. That you have
Yeah.
this idealistic view of things, and that does change when you experience experience reality really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had this one funny moment. I think you had left Dubai by then. So in 2016, Ara and I went to Croatia for a holiday, and I
Uh-huh.
bought this Luka Modric jersey over there. Luka Modric's Croatian national jersey. And then I used to wear that quite a bit. I still have it actually. So then it became pretty handy because in the 2018 World Cup, we started going to for a few of the knockout matches going to Barasti. Do you remember Barasti
Yeah.
in
I
Dubai?
never
Yeah,
went there,
to
but
okay.
only heard about it.
Yeah, it was a good place to go, and their World Cup screenings were pretty good, like multiple screens and stuff. It was a good environment. So anyway, that jersey came in pretty handy because Aaron and I were rooting for Croatia versus England in the semifinals, the 2018 World Cup. It was a pretty cool game as well when they
Yeah.
beat them, knocked them out 2-1. So yeah, that was a good fun memory. I don't have too many fun memories otherwise of the World Cup. It's not like when we were much
Young.
younger. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
association. So now that I think about it, 2014, I had just started my job in Dubai, like at a
Mm,
company. And that was the first time I was working in an environment, or even just in general, in an environment with people of so many different nationalities. So
mm,
I had uh I had people from Mexico, from Italy, from the Middle East, of course, which didn't really have representation, but I had people who were there. Like I was watching the World Cup and used to hear stories and perspectives from people from different nationalities, which was the first thing for me as well. 2018, we had just come to Canada. We were like 2 months into it. So I didn't have a job then. So I had to just follow the World Cup as well. And
mm,
so I've been at very specific points in my life for each World Cup, if I think about it that way as well. 2022
mm,
was a strange World Cup in the winter. I just like my daughter was 6 months old then, so it was a bit like it was a different one. And now down here, the World Cup is at home, and I can't
mm.
get to watch it because the ticket prices are outrageous, which was pretty sad. But yeah, but all of the tournaments, like I said at the start of this segment from 2010, can be pretty much the same in my head in terms of the tournament.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree with you. By the way, just a little bit perhaps worth exploring. Um, the lead up to this World Cup was a bit complicated because of whatever's happening around the world and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was a bit tuned out as well. But then once the World Cup started, I'm like slowly easing into getting into the World Cup. I mean, you can't help it, right? Because it's everywhere in terms of just coverage and stuff. But how has it been like? I was looking at some of the prices, whatever is being shared publicly. It is pretty extortionary in the US in particular. But what is it like in Canada?
Yeah,
And
it's
which all
pretty.
cities? Is it only in Toronto, Toronto, Vancouver, or what's
So it's
the
Toronto and
setup like?
Vancouver, so two
Mm-hmm.
cities. And I think there's
Okay.
13 games total.
13 games.
Yeah, so
Okay. Okay. It's
in
not
the
that many games as well. So it's a
yeah.
bit,
So but yeah, the prices are bad. Like if it's a Canada game, there was a Canada game this past like couple of days ago. It was in the in the thousands, over 1,000 for a ticket, and then
mm-hmm,
$1,000. And then I think even if it's something like I think this Iraq Senegal, which is still like
mm-hmm,
700. So yeah, the
mm-hmm,
prices have been pretty high, and also uh But like they expected a lot more hotel occupancy in Toronto as well and Vancouver,
Hmm.
but they haven't met those because people aren't coming or staying. So there's that as well. But like I feel like they could have had more matches in Canada and Mexico because it has
Hmm.
been harder to get in the US as well, like for a lot of fans. But yeah,
Because of visa regulations and
visa
stuff, I suppose,
regulations.
right?
So yeah,
Yeah. When we were watching the World Cup opener, that stadium, the Aztec Stadium, just looks phenomenal,
yeah,
right?
they could have just had the
My
whole tournament in
goodness.
Mexico as well. I feel because
Yeah, totally. That stadium is obviously there's a lot of history in that stadium as well, right? I think
yeah,
1990, if I'm not mistaken.
86
86,
or
right?
70.
86, yeah. The one the Argentina won, right? With
Yeah.
Maradona and stuff, right? Okay. Right, yeah, of course.
And then Brazil
I
won
think
that 70 World Cup with Pele.
right, the 70 World Cup, the Pele one, yeah. I think that was the first World Cup that was had like broadcasting in color and stuff.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Mexico could have had it themselves as well, to be honest. Uh,
What what's the coverage been like in Canada about the World Cup? Is it getting a lot of
I-
press coverage? It's
yeah,
not a
but
very
a little bit. If
football
you,
friendly or football first country, no?
it's not, but it's the World Cup, so everyone watches. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think there's enough. Also, there's not much else going on right now, so the hockey season is coming to an end. Basketball, like all the major US leagues are like there's baseball happening, but that's like mid-season, so it's nothing much else happening. So people are watching. Um, but yeah, anything else you want
Probably
to talk about the World Cup? Man? Like what? Like I think we chatted quite a bit about like how it's changed as well recently. Uh, I'm not gonna ask you a top three or anything,
top
but
three goals that you've witnessed at the World Cup.
like any stories or any matches that we haven't spoken about, or like anything that stands out to you for the World Cup that we haven't covered?
I think we sort
Or
of
should we take
done
this
bits
offline?
and yeah. Circle back on
Yeah.
anything that we've missed. I think we've covered pretty much everything. It was a little bit organic and went through a little
Okay.
sequentially. And it's funny, right? How our memories and recollection just went
Come.
fell off the cliff right after the initial first
Yeah.
couple of World
Like,
Cups.
yeah, that they happened.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
will ask you two questions. Excuse
Yeah,
me.
go for it.
Though, this World Cup, who's gonna win? Who do you think is gonna win, and who do you want to win?
Yeah. I was actually just thinking about that. I clearly don't have a clear-cut sort of national team to support, but over the last few World Cups, I've been supporting Croatia.
Mm.
So that's one, but the Croatian team now is pretty old. The folks like Luka Modric and stuff. But yeah, I'll just support them from a sentimental perspective because of they've done really well done well in the 2018 2022 World Cup. So they really punch above their weight. Even as a sporting nation, the Balkan countries, I mean, it's a
Yeah.
separate topic. There's like barely any people on in those Balkan countries. Like they come up with superstars like Djokovic and
Nikola Jokic.
Modric, Nikola Jokic. They're like this. What's the other guy's name? The Delhi Lakers guy as well.
Doncic?
Luka Doncic. Yeah. Anyway, it's fully stacked.
Yeah.
Even in football as well. So yeah, that's Croatia is one, and then also Portugal for
For
Cristiano
Ronaldo?
Ronaldo. Yeah, and went and watched a European qualifier for Portugal versus Hungary. So I got to watch a few of their players up close. So yeah, they have got a couple of these really exciting midfielders who play for PSG as well. So should be a good, and Bruno Fernandes also plays for them, a
Yeah.
Manchester United connection there. So Portugal and Croatia. Yeah. I don't think the Croatian team is strong, but I think the Portugal team could make it, yeah.
Do you think Ronaldo's
Should
legacy will be impacted based on if he wins or
if he
not?
doesn't.
If he doesn't, yeah, if he wins, obviously it'll get enhanced. But if he doesn't, do you think it'll be
Yeah.
diminished?
I think the if he does win, then the whole Ronaldo Messi conversation gets more credence. Otherwise, Messi is I suppose peerless. Um, but yeah, it would help his case, the GOAT discussion.
Yeah.
How about you? Who would you be rooting
Oh,
for apart from
I'm
Canada?
gonna root for Canada. I always like Netherlands recently as well. Uh,
Hmm.
but I don't think they have a good team. I feel like Spain, France, Portugal, England,
Yeah.
one of those four teams. I feel like England could win also, and like they have a good coach as well this time. Not like
Are
previous
you
years.
do you have any feelings for England?
No, no, I don't care if they win. Like I actually don't want them to win. Like I couldn't care. Uh,
Hmm.
I would love it if Canada did well. They will not
Hmm.
win it, but they obviously, but they could reach the round of 16 if they manage to scrape a win in the 32 if they depending on who they play. That'll be good enough. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't watch players as much. Like, yeah, because I don't know half the players as well. That's a
Hmm.
problem. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of it. It'll be fun. It's
I
good
do
that you
want
have something to
to.
watch every day as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. It's a good
As you would say in India,
and
it's a
it's
good time pass.
something to talk about as well.
Yeah,
But I do want an African team to do well. I'm still
yeah.
trying to suss out which. There's a good game. There's
Morocco, man. I
Morocco.
love
Yeah,
it.
Morocco drew with
You saw the
Brazil, I
match
believe.
yesterday?
Did you watch the game? I didn't watch the game.
I did. It was great. The
How was
first half
it?
especially was intense.
How did was it equally matched or
Yeah,
just
I
Morocco
mean they
lucky
could have
to
won.
scrape
Morocco could
through?
have won.
Morocco could have won. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. But from the other African teams as well, like one of those West African teams like Senegal or Ivory Coast, it'd be nice if somebody from there also makes it far. That'd be really good.
yeah,
So yeah, and also, one of the Asian teams, especially like I think the Japanese team is pretty decent if I'm not mistaken. So that would be pretty good as well. In fact, it's just under an hour now away.
Netherlands.
We
Yeah,
got it, Netherlands
you'll
and
probably
Japan. I'll
be
probably
asleep
watch
by
a
then.
little.
Yeah,
Yeah, I will, but I'll probably catch a little bit of it because that should be a decent game.
yeah,
So yeah, let's see. I think maybe we can when we have our next catch up, we can maybe talk a little bit if we're exploring something else, but we can maybe have a dedicated session for the World Cup.
yeah. Should we wrap this one though?
Yep,
I
sounds
managed to
good.
avoid asking your top three questions, so that's a win, if nothing
Yeah,
else.
yeah, yeah. That is. But maybe next week, if we're talking about maybe our food experiences or something, we can bring something back. That's a little bit easier, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks everyone for watching or listening, and hope you enjoy the World Cup as well as it goes along. We'll see you soon.